just how hard he hit. And my mama told me homecoming games are the best. On the banks of those late fall, late cartwheel sunsets. I wanted to be just like Jeff Davis when I grew up, tackling Seminoles and Bulldogs, playing football in the mud. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we're part of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. I feel really sorry for our sisters to the south, 'cause they come up here every other year and get punched in the mouth. Oh, and every home Saturday, it gives us the chills to watch those boys in orange run together down that hill. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981. Make those Death Valley lights shine brighter. And for good luck, we got Howard's Rock to beat the hell out of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Oh, somewhere up in heaven, Gaines Adams makes us sad. And that old Banks McFadden is the best damn running back. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981. Make those Death Valley lights shine brighter. And for good luck, we got Howard's Rock to beat the hell out of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Everybody, damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin P here. Damn, this microphone's messed up. What is today? I don't even know what day it is. Happy Thursday to everybody. I hope everybody's great, because I know I am. The reason I'm great is because it's Thursday and NFL starts tonight. I've been looking forward to that. There is a college game tonight too, I think. And of course, first and foremost and most importantly, 2 days away from college football Saturday. So how could anybody not be feeling good about that? Before I get into what I want to talk about today, let's see who is in the chat here, and say what's up to everybody. Good afternoon, Be Spooky. 81 Clemson Tiger 16. How you doing, sir? Prince 6'1". By the way, before I go any further, damn it, I don't know what's going on with my mic or my headphones. One of the two, I don't know. But in my headphones, it sounds like I'm in a cave. I'm going to the NC State game with Prince 6'1". I say I'm going with him. He's actually taking me. He was nice enough to provide me and my wife with tickets. So I'm really looking forward to that. But he already knows that. So I want to give a big shout out to Prince 6'1" for doing that for me. DeGoat Watson, how you doing, sir? Good afternoon. Let's see. Looks like the same. Melon Matt, he says, Roll Tide. Good afternoon, sir. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you would not be here. Listen, I guess I know I came on a couple of minutes early today because I got to get off a couple minutes early. Pretty much that simple. So you do the math. Mark Dudley, good afternoon, sir. Mark Dudley says, when you're a homer, you're a homer. I couldn't agree more. That might be the smartest thing you've ever said, sir. B Spooky says, I'm pretty sure UC plays tonight. Maybe the game. Who's UC? California? I don't know. I'm trying to. I saw a comment earlier before the thing was starting. I glanced at it and I'm trying to see. Oh, B Spooky. Oh yeah, here it is. B Spooky says, pretty safe. Haskins is the best quarterback in college football, and the Buckeyes will score 60-plus points in every game and win the college football playoff. That's a hot take, sir. That you definitely are a homer. Nothing wrong with that. I tend to disagree. I think that I do believe that Haskins is really good. He's scary good. He's he's the best quarterback that Urban Meyer's had. I mean, by a long shot. Ohio State can be tough this year. Be spooky. Let's be real here. You gave up 31 points to Oregon State, sir. I mean, that's unforgivable. Really, how did that happen? Now you could say I didn't watch the game, so you might say it's because we had our third string in there, and that might be true. I don't know. Either way, Oregon State's an absolute dumpster fire. So you shouldn't be giving up 31 points to them no matter what happens. But I do agree. Ohio State looks really, really good. Yes, I agree. Prince 6'1" says should be a good game too. NC State always plays us tough, and Ryan Finley he's projected to be the number one quarterback taken in the draft this year. Prince, I didn't know if you knew that. Ryan Finley is the real deal. The problem is, how good is NC State's defense? I don't know yet. We'll find out. We'll know. We'll have a pretty good idea by the time we go to that game exactly how good NC State's defense is. I like to say I hope it's a good game because we're going to it, but I don't hope it's a good game. I hope we blow them out in the first half. We can go get drunk somewhere in the third quarter. George, good afternoon, George. Welcome to the stream, sir. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you would not be here. He says, I'm a Florida Gator. I don't even need to talk about football. Just basking in the glory of beating Charleston. Yeah, so I hope did you guys enjoy that video I uploaded today? I appreciate all the well wishes from people in the comment section saying, don't listen to the trolls on you're better than that, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I know. Believe me. I had fun making that video. It took me about 10 minutes. I mean, it was an easy video to make. I screenshotted comments from the past few days and uploaded them. Really wasn't much to it, and I was nothing creative about it really. But it's funny to me. So believe me, it doesn't bother me. If I went back the past year of my videos, I could make an hour-long video like that. Those were literally just from the past 3 or 4 days, since the last weekend games. So, I mean, if I went back a year, I can make 200 comments like that. And some of them I've had to delete because they're not, I don't want people seeing some of the stuff people say on there. But I've been told to, I can't even say what people have told me. That's PG compared to a lot of the stuff I get. But it does not bother me. So don't be worried about that. It's funny to me. That's why I posted it. But if people want to, good afternoon, the artist formerly known as Drake Luke, wrong on purpose. Good afternoon, sir. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Hey, Oregon looks pretty good. That Herbert kid for your team looks like the real deal. I'm interested to see. One of the games I'm looking forward to the most this year in the Pac-12, and that's few and far between. First of all, is Washington going to Utah, and second of all is Oregon and Washington. I'll be watching that game for sure. Air Max the Legend Killer, how you doing, sir? Anyway, okay, so I'm getting sidetracked here. Let's talk about. So I want to do. So last week, what I did with my picks against the spread was I did my 6, most surefire Vegas locks, and I went 4-2 on those. Pretty good, even though you wouldn't know that from the comment section. This week is much harder. I was looking at the betting lines for the games this week. They are tough. There's only one game that I feel 100% sure is a lock this week in all of college football. Now, I did still pick a lot more. Like I said, I'm going out on a limb. I'm putting myself in a position to have a losing record this week. I picked what I would consider to be much tougher games to pick. So don't go out and bet them based on my advice, unless you really want to. But there is one. I'll start with the one that I do think is a complete and utter lock in Vegas. If you're going to make if you're a betting person and you're going to make one single bet this week, this is the one to bet. Drum roll. Kansas at Central Michigan. Central Michigan is giving 5 points to Kansas, which means Central Michigan is favored by 5 points. Central Michigan will beat Kansas by more than 5 points. It's in Michigan or in Central Michigan. That'll be a rout. Kansas is the worst team in all of college football. FCS, FBS, CIA, DEA, FBI. Doesn't matter. Bet that now before the line changes. If I had an extra $500 in my bank account to bet right now, it would all go on Central Michigan. Central Michigan's beating Kansas by more than 5, period. So there's my lock of the week. And I'm 110% sure I'm going to get that right now. Watch me not get it right, and people will be on the trolling section again. Yeah. So, anyway, next. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Because these next ones, I'm picking some, what I consider to be some pretty controversial picks in the Vegas lines. Georgia Tech at USF. USF. Pretty good team in the what are they, Conference USA or the American Athletic Conference? I don't know. Either way, you know what I'm saying. They're one of the. I think they're in the Conference USA. Doesn't matter. USF's a pretty good team. Georgia Tech, not a very good team, but a Power 5 team nonetheless, an ACC team who is known to upset certain people on any given week because they run the triple option high school, not even high school, middle school offense. Georgia Tech is minus 3.5, which means Georgia Tech is favored by 3.5 points. I'm taking Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech will beat USF by more than 3.5 points. Sorry, I just do. USF. Georgia Tech plays much better competition week in, week out than USF. I don't care how good USF is in the group of 5. I think that Georgia Tech's going to beat them by more than 3.5 points. I'd say anywhere between 7 and 20 points is what Georgia Tech will win by. So go ahead and mark that down as a not confident but Pigskin Pete pick there. Next on the list. And this is where we get into the homer territory. UGA in South Carolina. Now, this is what's going to get people below in my comment section up like there's no tomorrow. I can go ahead and tell you that right now. UGA, the line started at 9. UGA was favored by 9. It's moved to 10, which means the money's going on Georgia. I'm still taking Georgia at minus 10. I think Georgia wins by a couple of touchdowns. That's just me. Now, again, don't go bet this game based on my advice. Not that you would anyways, but don't do it and then come and tell me you lost a bunch of money because I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. I just think that everyone's saying that this game's going to be close and South Carolina could upset Georgia. I don't see it happening. And I'm going off of recent history. And when I say recent, I mean Will Muschamp's tenure at South Carolina. When they are hyped up to possibly upset somebody, especially in South Carolina, they never win. Example number 1, Clemson last year. Everybody and their mother was saying, oh, South Carolina's good this year. They're an 8-win team. What at the time they faced Clemson, they were an 8-win team. Clemson's going to get upset. They got to go to Columbia. Columbia is a hard place to play. They got routed and embarrassed because, you know why? Because Clemson has an elite defense and so does Georgia. I'm taking Georgia by 14. So write it down. All right, so next on the list, and I will be doing this game live, play-by-play and reaction, of course. The game day game of the week on ESPN is Clemson at Texas A&M. Clemson started out at minus 13.5. The line has moved to minus 12 currently. And I looked these up right before I came on air, so these are as current as you're going to get, okay? And I wrote it down on some mail, too. Credit card bill. I'm not going to pay that anyway. What do people think I'm going to pay that? All right, so minus 12. I'm taking Clemson. I'm sorry. People blowing up my comment section over the past 4 days telling me that Clemson's going to get exposed against Texas A&M. The SEC is just so much better than the ACC that even the best team in the ACC can't beat a middle-of-the-road SEC team like Texas A&M. It's loud there. They're going to be swinging ropes like a bunch of retards. Do you think we care about that? This game will be over by halftime. Clemson's going to blow them out. Sorry. Put your money on Clemson. Let's see. Next on the list. Oh, this is a game I'm really looking forward to seeing. And this is where are my Penn State fans at? Because This is an old rivalry that went away, and I guess for some reason it came back this year. They used to play each other every year. It's a very heated rivalry. Penn State at Pitt. Now, this is going to be a great game, folks. If you're not busy, I don't know what time this game comes on. If your team is not playing at the same time as this game, watch it or record it. This is going to be a great game. So, it's at Pitt. Penn State is a minus. I can't even read my own handwriting. Is that a 1 or a 9? I think it's a 9. If that's a 9, that's a sad-looking 9. I need to go back to elementary school and check my penmanship. I'm pretty sure that's a 9. Jesus Christ. Can somebody confirm or deny that for me? Good afternoon, Catfish. I think it's 9. Either way, I'm taking Pitt. I think it's a 9. Otherwise, I would have taken Pitt. It's in Pitt. Penn State, clearly the more talented team. Penn State, one of the top 3 or 4 teams at minimum in the Big Ten, right? Pitt, middle of the road ACC team, has a tendency to knock off some people like Miami and Clemson now and again. The fact that it's in Pitt, the fact that Penn State struggled with a high school team last week, and the fact that Penn State has such a big spread there, at -9, I'm taking Pitt. Sorry. And I'm still not sure if that's a 9 or a 1. I really, that's sad and embarrassing. That's poor preparation. What did my economics teacher back in high school tell me? Poor preparation equals piss poor performance, or something like that. It was a bunch of P's. That's all I know, and that's what I've done here. I've let you all down. Yeah. Before I do my upset of the week, I want to go back and see what you guys have been saying in the comment section here. Penn State 56, Pitt 20. Dude, you are high if you think that. The Goat Watson says, nah, South Carolina is beating Georgia. The Goat Watson, I know. Well, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're thinking. They're going to hang themselves with those ropes by halftime. You must be talking about the A&M guys. College Football Dojo. Good afternoon, sir. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you would not be here, and I'm parched. He says, I'd say Clemson 14.5 and UGA -12. Huh? Clemson -14.5 and UGA -12. So you think Clemson's going to win by 14.5 and UGA is going to win by 12? Because that's not the lines on the games. I'm confused, sir. You've confused me, and that's pretty easy to do, trust me. The Goat Watson says, it will be so hard for us to make the playoffs if we lose a game. No, it won't, sir. Listen, we could lose to Nobody University. If any ACC team that goes 11-1 and wins the ACC is making the playoffs. That's it. Period. So we can lose a game, yes. I don't anticipate that A&M's going to be the game we lose. But if we did, we could still win out and make the playoffs without a problem. Trust me. Yeah, Prince. See, I should have scrolled down. Prince took care of that for me. 11-1 ACC champ makes it. It is 9. Thank you, the artist formerly known as Drake Luke. Yeah, so 9. So Penn State's favored by 9. I'm taking Pitt. Now, will Pitt win the game outright? I'm not saying that. They could, but if they do lose, it'll be a close game. It's in Pitt, so I consider that to be one of my favorite betting lines of the week. Even though it's not a lock, I think that Pitt will give Penn State a good game. All right, so now for the last but not least, I struggle with this because when you're picking games on camera, you're setting yourself up for failure, believe me. But what fun would it be to just pick all the obvious games, right? Like the Kansas Central Michigan game. I mean, Kansas isn't winning a game this year. That's easy. I could do 3 games like that, and I would look like a genius. So my upset of the week: Duke at Northwestern. Now, Northwestern's a pretty good team, right? Duke's an ACC team, middle of the road at best. Well, here's what I'm telling you. So the betting line on this is Northwestern is only favored by 3 at home. At Northwestern. Now, anybody who knows anything about betting, when you have two, well, at least when you have, unless it's a high school team, but these aren't high school teams, these are Power 5 programs. Vegas automatically, when they open the betting lines, they give 3-point favorite to the home team right off the bat, right off the rip. And then it goes, based on the betting from there on out. So, Northwestern has been given 3 points because they're at home. So, the Vegas Sharks think that Duke and Northwestern are pretty evenly matched teams. Now, I'm here to tell you, Northwestern should win this game because it's at home. I'm picking Duke. That's my upset of the week. And don't get on here and tell me that I'm an idiot. No way Duke beats Northwestern. Like I said before, Northwestern should win the game. That's why it's called an upset, people. If it wasn't controversial, it wouldn't be an upset now, would it? I'm picking Duke to win it. Duke is much better than people think they are. Duke is going to knock some people off this year that they shouldn't knock off. And I'm looking for them to go in to Northwestern and at least give them a good game. They may not win the game. It'll be a close game, though. I don't expect this to be a blowout in any fashion. So I'm picking Duke. Write it down. My upset of the week. All right. AC Outlaw. Good afternoon, sir. Clemson reminds of the Miami in the early 2000s, not nearly as dominant and nowhere near the star power, but had it definitely going great and potentially dynasty. They can win a couple more championships. I would tend to agree with that. Well, first of all, I do agree that we are going to win a couple more championships. One reason is because Dabo's not going anywhere anytime soon, and he's got that thing rolling. He's right up there with Alabama and Ohio State, the way he's got that thing rolling. Those are the three best programs as far as just year-to-year consistency, recruiting, winning, top to bottom, the whole 9 yards. So Dabo will win more championships. Comparing them to Miami from the 90s and early 2000s, I don't know about that. Different times, different eras, everything's just different. But I see what you're saying, though. I agree with what you're saying. But yes, I do agree with part of that anyways. Billy Dawson. Yeah, I agree. We'll invite him. I'll leave that up to one of you guys. I'm terrible at inviting people to that group. Either Prince or Billy invite Mark Dilley to the group. DeGoat Watson says, Pigskin Pete, Pigskin Pete, if I bet $100 on Central Michigan, how much would I win? Well, if you just bet the spread, you win $100. If you bet against the odds, see, there's this. So when you bet the spread, you win what you bet. That's the spread just evens it out. If you betting odds, then you won't win as much. There's a difference between the spread and the odds. If you do odds betting, you could bet $100 to only win 20, which isn't worth it. Clemson reminds me of the Tom Osborne era in Nebraska. SEC football too. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing? Hope school is going well for you. College football maniac. Good afternoon. I had Virginia Tech to win. I had Notre Dame to win. I changed my mind on LSU winning, but I should have stuck with my gut. But I know Northwestern is winning. My guess is 28-17. Okay, so we'll see. I got Duke upsetting them. And believe me, I'm not like super confident. I'm not beating my chest going around saying Duke's going to beat Northwestern. You guys are idiots if you think Northwestern. No, Northwestern should win the game. I'm picking an upset. That's my upset of the week. So that's all there is to that. AC Outlaw, who's your early favorites for the playoffs? That's a good question because I made a video on my preseason, a few weeks before the season started about who I picked to go to the playoffs, and they have changed since then, which will happen after week 1. And if for anybody who has any brains anyways, that's debatable whether I do or not, but that's neither here nor there. Originally, I had Washington, Clemson, Alabama, and Penn State. Penn State was my dark horse, obviously. That goes without saying. At this point, after what I saw week one, and I'm not going to say week one's going to determine the rest of the season, but I would take Washington out of that conversation because I think Washington's going to lose another game, whether it's to Oregon or Utah, or hell, even if they make the Pac-12 championship and lose to somebody like USC or Utah in the Pac-12 championship, a two-loss Pac-12 team is probably not getting in. A two-loss team has never made it in the playoffs since the playoffs have started. So I'm taking Washington out. I would still say I'm still picking Clemson until they show me that they're not capable. At this point, I still think Clemson's got the easiest path. Based on the way Florida State looks in Miami too. So anyway, Clemson. I'm still going to pick Alabama because they're Alabama. That's 2. Out of the Big Ten, I'm going to have to go now with Ohio State from Penn State. I gave Penn State their chance, but they did not look good last week. So Ohio State's clearly the dominant team in that conference. Now, Wisconsin could possibly go undefeated in the West, even beat Michigan. They play them this year, and then have one game to get to a play-in or play-out game into the playoff like they had last year. And if they beat Ohio State in one game, they could get in. I'm still saying Ohio State. Okay, so there's 3: Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State. 4th team. This is where it gets sticky, because I had the Big 12 being left out of the playoff because the Big 12 is a tough road to the playoff because they play everybody in their conference. They don't have divisions, and they have to rematch somebody in a Big 12 champion. The likelihood of anybody in the Big 12 not losing more than one game is very low. How about this? I'm going to shock you. And this is a very new development. And I'm glad you asked me that because you actually made me think for once, and that's something I only do about once a month. Just think. I'm going to say 2 Big Ten teams make it in instead of 2 SEC teams this year. And this will probably change by next week, okay? But today, what's today? September 6th, 2018. I'm saying Wisconsin and Ohio State both make it into the playoffs. What do you think about that? And then Alabama and Clemson. Yeah. That's so wrong. So wrong. But it is what it is. That is a very bold prediction. Tiger Nation, good afternoon, sir. How you doing? George says, who might beat Clemson this year? Well, nobody should beat Clemson this year, not on their schedule. If I had to make a pick of which games am I worried about the most, I guess is what you're saying. It's easy. It's going to be NC State, and NC State should not hang with Clemson, but they've got the talent to catch Clemson slipping if Clemson has an off day. And they always play them tough. And they've got the best quarterback in the ACC outside of Trevor Lawrence, depending on how he looks. So, NC State. And number 2, everybody's saying it, and I'm agreeing with it, is Boston College. Boston College has more talent than they've had in 20 years at one time. They've got a hell of a defense, and they've got one of the best running backs in America, A.J. Dillon. We play them on the road at night in Boston in November. Big time, tall task. It could be 10 degrees that game. We don't know. And, Boston College. Florida State, not so much. Florida State used to worry me until about a few days ago when I saw them play, and my worries about them went right out the window pretty quickly. They got no offensive line whatsoever. They could put me on the offensive line, and I would do just as good. I mean, I'd probably break both of my legs and my neck in the game, but that's about how they played. Like some guys with broken legs and broken necks, so it wouldn't be that much of a difference. Clemson always struggles against Florida State there. We do normally struggle against Florida State and Tallahassee in the Jimbo Fisher era. I'm not so sure about the Willie Taggart era. I was very less than impressed the other night. That was just an absolute. That was one of the worst. No, not one of the worst. That was the worst showing I've seen by a Florida State football team since I was in high school, and that was 20 years ago. Showing my age there. Showing my age for all these people in the comment section that say they want to slap this little kid. People are younger than me calling me a little kid. I know I age well, but for anybody who wants to come on here and say you want to slap this little kid, I'm your daddy, and I will spank you as if I was your daddy. Who's playing tonight and what time and what channel? Well, I'll be watching the NFL game, and it's the Eagles and the Falcons. And I don't know what channel that is. I guess it's on the NFL Network maybe. Falcons Fury, good afternoon. How you doing, sir? Are you excited about tonight? I honestly cannot believe how fast Florida has returned to owning the state. We will catch up with Miami with one more commit. We were in their ass and FSU too. Well, all right. Here's what I'm going to say about that. Falcons Fury. I might have been a little hard on Florida. I don't want to overreact to Charleston Southern because Charleston Southern is literally a high school team. I mean, I live 5 minutes from Charleston Southern, and the high school I went to does have a bigger stadium than Charleston Southern does. I mean, they're terrible. They're not even good in their own conference in the FCS. So don't get crazy. Now, having said that, Florida did look more disciplined and just, executed the plays better than they ever did under McElwain. And they've got talent. And, shocker, I'm picking Florida to beat South Carolina. That's not a shocker to anybody, for anybody who knows me. So, long story short, Florida is better than I thought they were going to be. They look better so far. I'm still not sold that Florida's going to win the East or compete with Georgia. Okay? So just slow your roll down a little bit. And I don't know, you still have to play Florida State at the end of the year. And believe me, there's plenty of time between now and when you play Florida State for Florida State to clean up some of those problems. And you've lost to Florida State like a lot of times out of the last lot of times. They've owned you. So just calm down. And you haven't taken the state back until you beat them again. And it's been a while. So just slow your roll down, sir. DeGoat Watson says, Pigskin Pete, who are you playing against in week 1 fantasy football? Oh, you know what? The MJ Take. It's a content creators league, so it's another YouTuber. And he's using a name that I don't know. The MJ Take. Who is that? I can pretty much pick out all the other ones. I don't know who that is. So, yeah, that answers your question. The MJ Take. I'm not sure who that is, to be honest. And I feel bad for the guy because I'm sure I probably know who he is on YouTube. I just don't understand. I just don't know his fantasy football name. Florida State game always decides ACC champions. Yes, in recent years it has. I'm not sure that's going to happen this year. So Falcons Fury says Florida's still going 7-5, 9-3, and at this point Miami and FSU suck so bad an average Florida team can beat them both. Well, I tend to agree with that. And you cannot compete with UGA yet. So you're not getting crazy. I respect that, sir. You're not getting crazy. But hey, listen, beat South Carolina. And beat the teams you should beat, like Tennessee and Missouri and those people, although Missouri's no tough, easy out. Beat Kentucky this weekend. I know Kentucky hasn't beat you since George Bush was president. Before the first George Bush even. And I'm not even kidding. It's been 31 years since Kentucky's beat Florida. That's an amazing stat. But yeah, Florida could end up having a pretty good year this year. Yeah, college football is on tonight. I don't know who's playing. It's some nobody team, George, I think. I don't know who it is. MJ Take does NFL videos, has like 10,000 subs. It's a Titans fan. Okay, so I'm you know what? I'm glad you told me that. I don't want to disrespect the guy. I'm not subscribed to him, but I will go subscribe to him now. I don't think I am. Shit, I don't know. I'm subscribed to so many people. I'll go look. If he's got 10,000 subs, I'm sure he's a great video maker. I don't want to throw shade at the guy. I really don't mean any disrespect. I just didn't recognize the name. The first George, yes, it is. Right, 31 years ago is the first George Bush. I'm not even being funny there. That's a fact. Tiger Nation says, so South Carolina's playing the night you said a nobody team. The trolling never stops with Tiger Nation. I mean, listen, I consider myself to be the, one of the top. I'm in the top 10% of the world of trolling South Carolina. Of course, I do it on video. But Tiger Nation, he wakes up trolling and goes to sleep trolling South Carolina fans like nobody I've ever seen. I mean, he is right on my level, and that's hard to get to. Tiger Nation, kudos to you, sir. See that? Oh, this YouTube name is a Sports Fan Entertainment. It actually has 15K subs. Okay, Sports Fan Entertainment. But it's the same guy, though. Titans fan. His roster looks pretty good. I was just looking at it. But the problem is he's got Le'Veon Bell starting, and Le'Veon Bell's not playing this week. As a matter of fact, Le'Veon Bell is not even active. So he's going to have to supplement for that problem. He does have a pretty good roster, though. No good games tonight. TCU plays tomorrow night. Nothing decent until Saturday. Yeah, that's what I thought. The Florida Gator football team personally finds it absolutely unacceptable to lose to South Carolina. That's like losing to Kentucky or Vanderbilt or Missouri for that matter. Yeah, well, unfortunately, Florida lost to South Carolina last year. Now, I understand Florida had an abnormally bad year. Yeah. Florida's more talented than South Carolina is on the roster. Period. End of story. And I hope Florida beat the brakes off of them. Please. Please. Can we have a moment of silence for Florida State's head coach? I have a feeling he's got PTSD now. Yeah, don't listen. Everybody calm down. Willie Taggart, he's got one game under his belt. And everybody's saying he's the worst coach in college football. I mean, I almost feel sorry for the guy. Yes, there's no excuse for putting a product on the field like what we saw against Virginia Tech. But newsflash, Virginia Tech's defense is really good. Now, that's only part of it. I'm not making excuses for Florida State. There's no way that Florida State should be playing at home against any team in America, even Alabama, and only putting up 3 points. There's absolutely no excuse for that. Having said that, let's just give the guy a little bit of time here. All right. I mean, let's just pump our brakes. He's not, well, I was about to say he's not Ed Orgeron, but Ed Orgeron is out there winning games and this guy's not. So I'll go ahead and save that commentary for some other time. Good afternoon, Paul Jamison. How you doing, sir? I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise you would not be here. You missed my commentary earlier. We were talking about Ohio State, and I was saying how impressed I was with Dwayne Haskins, and that I switched my pick. I'm picking Ohio State to make the playoff now because my dark horse pick in Penn State just did not look good last week, so I switched to the conventional national consensus pick in Ohio State. But that's no shock to anybody. Willie's Instagram page is getting flooded with hate. Yeah, and that's the thing about the Florida State fans, man. I mean, they were leaving that stadium in droves in the third quarter, and I got to tell you something. Now, I can't speak for every fan base out there, and I know Florida State has high expectations for their team every year, and they don't have a lot of patience for watching their team play like that. But if Clemson's down, unless they're down by 60 points, their fans aren't leaving in the third quarter. It's not happening. It's just not happening. I don't care. I've never seen it happen, and I'd be surprised if it did happen. There's certain fan bases out there that that don't have any patience. Now I feel sorry for the players. Number one, if you're a player and there's a quarter and over a quarter left in the game and you're looking up and you're seeing your fans leave, that's deflating. I'm sorry, it is. And Florida State should be ashamed of that. Their fans should be ashamed of that. They should not leave in the third quarter. Doing well, Pete. Sorry I missed Ohio State talk. Ohio State looks pretty healthy. You should be a lock. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're. So Paul, this was my bold prediction. Somebody asked me to pick who I'm picking now to make the playoff, and I made a bold statement, which is going to be changed by next week. Okay. I said there would be 2 Big Ten teams in there. I said that Penn State and Ohio State would make it, and Clemson and Alabama. And the only reason I say that is because I'm still not of the belief that anybody from the Big 12 is going to get out with less than 2 losses, which will leave them out. And that I also don't think that the Pac-12 is going to get in. I think Washington will have 2 losses. That would leave them out. And then so that would basically either leave 2 teams from the SEC or 2 teams from the Big 10 getting in. And I think it's more likely to have a 1-loss Wisconsin team get in over a 2-loss Big 12 or Pac-12 team. So that's my reasoning. Doesn't mean I'm right. Good afternoon, SEC Dog. How you doing, sir? Where's all the talent at Florida? Am I missing something? Did they give up 25 rushing yards to Charleston Southern? I mean, SEC Dog. Listen, I know you're trolling. I know you hate Florida. Florida's always had talent, always will. That's all there is to it. The question is Dan Mullen the guy, and is their quarterback going to be able to step up? Again, I'm not picking Florida to win the East. Even I'm picking Georgia. All I'm saying is that Florida. Originally I was thinking Florida's a 7-win team. At this point, I'm thinking Florida could easily be a 9-win team, maybe even 10, if they upset a couple of people. But they're not winning the East, I don't think. So, but they are talented. Yes, they are. They always have been. Tiger Nation says, must be something in the water down there. Miami fans and Florida fans just leave their team. Yeah. As much as those damn cowbells piss me off, they have loyal fans. I can see why Mullen stayed for so long. And that's a good point. Mississippi State fans are loyal fans. I agree. You know what? And somebody screenshot this because this is the first and last time you're ever going to hear me say this. Ever. And I'm actually thinking about not saying it before I say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. South Carolina fans are loyal. And how could you not be? They sell out games, 80+ thousand. They come up and jump up and down like a bunch of retards to Sandstorm, to a techno music. No one's listened to techno music since 1992, but they do it anyways. They've never won anything, and they still show up. And they still think they're going to win every year. They are delusional, but nonetheless, they are very loyal. I will give South Carolina that. That's it. That's the only thing I will give South Carolina, is that they are loyal. That's it. But they are that. Although they were leaving the stadium about halfway through the fourth quarter when they played Clemson last year. Because that was an embarrassing drubbing they took. College Football Dojo says, I feel as if teams with no pro teams are the most loyal. That might be true. I think that the teams that so the teams that go through a long period of not winning much. So Clemson went through that period, right? For about 20-something years, close to 30 years. I mean, they went from winning a national title and being a top 5 team every year in the early 80s to an 8-win team every year for the next 30 years. And then got back to being good. Now, when you're a team that it goes from being great to being mediocre to being great again, you during that mediocre period, your fan base gains loyalty, especially the ones that remember back when you were great, because they want to see you get back to that point. If you're a team like Alabama who has 16 national titles, I'll dispute that, but whatever. 16 national titles. If Alabama is losing by 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, they probably would start leaving because they have higher expectations. I would imagine the same would happen with Ohio State. South Carolina fans are so loyal because they've never won anything, and the fact that they have a chance to win 9 wins gives them all tight pants, if you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, maybe pro teams might have something to do with it too. I don't know. The Wicker Man, 1981. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing? I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you would not be here. SEC Dog says he's going to the game this Saturday. I agree. I don't know if you SEC Dog. I don't know how long you've been on here, but I did my picks, my hot takes even for the spreads this week, and UGA is now favored in Vegas. The current line is -10, and I think they'll cover that. I think they'll win by more than 10 points. So, good afternoon, Alonzo. Hey, Alonzo. Alonzo's in the house. Everybody, I'm sure you already know who Alonzo1219U family is. My favorite Miami video maker, and it's not even close. I consider him to be my homeboy on YouTube. And I got to tell you, Alonzo, I took a lot of heat from Miami fans, man. And actually, I don't know why. I'm not worried about it. But I mean, all I did was root for Miami and point out what I thought the problem with Miami's team was, and I caught a lot of flack about that. But keep your head up, man. Alonzo is a real Miami fan, not like a lot of the fake ones that like to show up on the Pigskin Pete YouTube channel and run as soon as I say something negative about their team. He's the real deal, Holyfield. Alonzo, we were just saying how much faith we have in Miami this year. Great quarterback coach. George is trolling you, sir. Ashley Payton. Good afternoon. Ashley Payton, 18. Ashley, are you an actual female? Because if you are, I've been catfished on this channel before. If you are a female, you would be the second female viewer of the Pixie and Pete YouTube channel, and by default, that makes you one of my favorite because I feel like there should be more females on my channel. For one, I'm so good looking and articulate that I attract women, and the fact that there's not more on here is a travesty and an embarrassment. So if you are in fact a woman, you should tell all your friends about me and tell them that there's a good looking guy that talks about Clemson football and is always wrong about everything. And that would be amazing and fantastic if you could do that. So, who's the first is Miranda Dansby. Miranda Dansby is one of my favorites. She's a loyal follower. She's college football maniac. You see him right there in the chat. It's his girlfriend. So. Anyway, guys, I got on a couple minutes early today because I have to get off a couple minutes early because I have something I have to do, unfortunately. If I could stay here and talk to you guys all day, I would, believe me, because you guys are so fun. I've been on for almost an hour, and you guys make it seem like 10 minutes. And they say time flies when you're having fun, and that's a testament to you guys. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this, trust me, in all honesty. That's all there is to it. I love chopping it up with football fans, even the ones that don't like me. I love you, even if you don't like me. Take that to the bank. Jesus, and I'm not even really religious, but Jesus said, love your haters. Or he said something like that. I don't know, read the Bible. It says something like that, I promise. And so I do. I love my haters, and I love all of you too. So, listen, I don't know. I might see you before Saturday, but either way, Saturday, I'm looking forward to this Saturday more than I look forward to anything I've done on YouTube. I will be doing a live play-by-play and reaction for the Texas A&M and Clemson game for 4 hours. So stack the cooler with beer. Charge your phone, tablet, computer, whatever you watch YouTube on, and meet me there. And tell your friends about it. Yell it out from a mountaintop. Write it down. Tattoo it on your forehead. If you tattoo it on your forehead, make sure you tattoo it backwards so when you look in the mirror, it reads correctly. That's it, I think. I think I've covered all my bases. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. Thanks for stopping in, everybody. For real. Pigskin Pete, checking out.